For some experiencing homelessness, it can be a constant struggle being in and out of shelters. But what type of shelter can offer the most support to help people get off the street and into permanent housing? That's the focus of a study by Portland State University.
The Joint Office of Homeless Services reached out to us and asked us to look at traditional congregate shelters, those mass shelters where many people tend to be in one room, versus motel shelters, converted motels, versus these village shelters.
Researchers looked back at 2 years' worth of data and conducted interviews. Several factors were analyzed as part of the study.
So what we did is we looked at the cost of each, the cost to build and operate. We looked at the experiences of clients in different types of shelters. And then we looked at all of the records of where they were entering shelters from and where they were exiting to.
The findings of the study? Congregate shelters, or traditional shelters that house a lot of people, didn't lead to the best outcomes for the homeless.
Congregate shelters do a pretty poor job of placing people into housing. Congregate shelters only had exit records for about half of people who had stayed in them. And even with all of that missing data, what we still saw was that they returned about as many people back into unsheltered homelessness as they placed into permanent housing.
But what did work to help those most in need? Alternative shelters like motels or village shelters.
Motel shelters and village shelters, they tend to be smaller. They're with the same group of people. And, the clients there felt very supported. They could build a sense of community. And they built really good relationships with the staff who were able to help them navigate some of these really complicated services.
One of the most important reasons why they work, the privacy they offer.
Having your own private space really matters. Having your own motel room or even your own pod in a village gives people a sense of autonomy and dignity and safety.
While alternative shelters are more expensive, researchers say it's better to put people in shelters that will help them build a better life.
We might have to pay a little bit more in terms of services and staff to make certain that people are successfully exiting homelessness, but I think that's absolutely an investment that is worth it for those people and for our entire community.
The Joint Office of Homeless Services released a new community sheltering strategy based on the research. The study also found having culture-specific communities help those experiencing homelessness feel safe and connected to their community.